Hello, Bill. This is Ryder here to review the Transformers Cross Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Party Wallop. So, in commemoration of both of these franchises' 40th anniversary, they decided to do a collaborative product to commemorate both. I actually did not know it was Ninja Turtles 40th also, just because I was looking at the box and such. So, as you can see from here, we have the More Than Meets the Eye collaborative TMNT and Transformers 2024 crossover and such. I really do like the box aesthetic for what they're going for. This is definitely different from other like Transformers I will see at the store and such. I do like we have the annual or the typical Transformers black box, but then ripped through is the Ninja Turtles. They're not bursting through, but the Ninja Turtles are coming through and such. And it is interesting that they are going with the grid design from the original Transformers 86. Yeah, it's 86, right? 84. Let's see. The 84 releases and such, just instead of red, it's now yellow and such. I just find it really inconsistent that, Raphael barely is on this box, which is weird, because, Leonardo shows up a lot, especially, here. I kind of wish there was, coordination through here, or at least, I don't know, each turtle got to, show up in each of these panels. I don't know. The right side here, obviously we have the Nickelodeon logo because Viacom owns the Ninja Turtles. We have the Autobot symbol. We have the accessories. Again, we've already looked at that. And then the back doesn't... The back is pretty standard for Transformers. Just shows you both modes, 20 steps, and we have the 40th anniversary logo for TMNT, which is actually pretty cool. I really like how it incorporates both the style of the Mutant Mayhem look, but then we also have the original logo from the comics. And then down here is actually really neat, which is kind of the gimmick for this release, which is that you can actually make each turtle with this vehicle. But then also down here we have the 40 years of Transformers and such. I don't know what this means, but I assume it's basically their seal of approval and such, just because we have it right here. What Raya would do, like this. It's basically just that, I guess. That's what I have to assume. But anyways, obviously I'll have to open this and we will take a look at it. Alright, so this is going to be a first for us. We actually have to pre-assemble the Transformer before we actually get to cover it. So, this is basically what this first entire section is, of just basically what to do with all of these accessories that are right out of the box, as most of this are the weapons. We got the spoiler, we got the hubcap, and the actual cap right here and such. So, how they want us to store these things, well, not store them, first of all we need to actually assemble it. To which you simply peg this up here, you peg this back here, while also sliding them down into these spaces. Like that. And then you take this and this logo and you want to actually align these divots to there so it's solid, which then you plug that in like so, and then you want to actually turn this around by folding this down, folding these out. As you can see from here, you take these head pieces upside down, and actually you want to do these bottom ones first. So like that. And then you take the bow staff, you fold it in, you peg it in like so, and then I'm pretty sure there's something else I'm supposed to peg in like so. I don't think so. Fold it back in. You fold it back in. You go underneath the shoulder pads, and then you take the nunchucks and put them in like so. Then for the size, peg them in like so. And then the katanas, you slot them back here like so. And voila, that's how they want us to assemble him and such. Alright, so here we have Party Wallop fully filled with his accessories. Let me try to balance that out. So this is going to be a first for me. I'll actually be first covering the Transformer in its robot mode. By me, this is the first Transformer we're taking a look at. Here we have the upper body of Party Wallop. As you can see from here, obviously, he has the silhouette of a Ninja Turtle, obviously, mainly by the head. I apologize about this. I think that's just from transformation. But other than that, like, you know, his width is pretty interesting. And obviously, I'll have to state this right away. I think I do have him incorrect by placing all the accessories on him. I don't think he's supposed to have weapons in this mode, but what am I gonna do with the bow staff then if I have to remove everything else? So, as you can see from here, his color scheme obviously based off of the party wagon. It's, you know, green with this nice subdued yellow. And then we have this gray plastic. Yeah, gray plastic all around and such. The front of the party wagon is nicely done with the blue, the white paint, and the red and silver right there. I have a paint swatch right there. There. So, other than that, like, you know, again, I think the head is nicely done. Same with the silver back here. I think these... I think this is supposed to be up. Because why else would it not be? But, yeah, again, I just like the silhouette of, like, it feels like a cluster, but, like, it's a cluster that actually feels like it's gonna stay together and such. As you can see from here, we have wheels for, like, the side skirts and such. And then the feet right there. Obviously, we got the turtle toes, like so. It's pretty neat. Articulation-wise, he can rotate his head all the way because it's just a ball joint. Obviously, be careful. Arms can rotate all of the... I mean, they can't necessarily rotate. Or rotate it like that, so then you don't end up bumping into this. This can bend 90 degrees. It can technically, can't really go backwards. And the hand can actually rotate in full, which is pretty neat. Putting this back on. Again, this moves for transformation, but this kicks to the side a bit. You can't really kick forward. Kicking forward is really, like, moving the legs are really tight. So you can't really do that often. But you can bend the knee. And obviously you can move this forward and back, but I think that's for transformation. This is more for articulation. But the toes can move like that. And that's one I keep forgetting. Again, the legs here are really tight to move. But you can rotate the waist to give him waist articulation. So that is kind of basically it for Party Wallop. So let's compare him to the closest size range I have for this, because I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be a leader class figure. So let's put him up with something that's close to leader class that I have. Ultra Class Visor 3. Our Triple Changer Visor 3. Obviously, we have him as the Infernal Creature right now, but as you can see, you know, it's a thing. Visor 3 can... I'm so used to hearing this. I'm just so used to, like, the joints of, like, the Transformers Animorphs. I'm not so used to, like, the fluidness of modern Transformer technology. Especially because I don't really mess around with a lot of Zrikens. But it's just, you know, I'm used to being afraid to move the Transformer and, you know, such luxurious sound. But, yeah, that's kind of it for Party Wallop. Now, technically the only thing you can do with him besides move him around like this is actually remove the front cap of the party wagon. And as you can see, there's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles logo. If you turn it around, you get a pan of pizza, which is cool. But putting this back on, to actually move on to the next thing, we need to peg this back in. We need to actually remove... What the heck, I told you not to come off. But we need to remove the front of the party wagon to get into turtle mode. So, from this point on, we are actually going to remove the size, and we're going to remove the katanas because we're going to change him into the Ninja Turtle and such. So, to access this, you want to turn them around. You want to lift this section forward like so, and then you want to look down here now. Take one of your upper head pieces. Pull that out. As you can see here, we pulled with everything's falling. Just simply peg it like so, as you can see up here. So you want to peg that right there to get Leonardo. Then you want to flip this section up. Twist this piece around until you get Leo's initial. And to finish that up, you want to take the katanas. Ow. And voila, we got Leonardo and such, which obviously he's my favorite of the four. It's just really cool that you can do this, and I just like that you can do the little differences to actually make it, to make each of them stand out and such. So again, we will speed through this. So technically next up is Donatello. So again, just take this off like so. The only issue is going to be this part because it's going to keep falling out. And then, because this part's going to be bothersome to deal with. Actually, what are we doing? Just put this back on. Swap this like so, because Donatello's weapon is actually still stored down here. We need to flip these out though. And just pry it out. And then as the battery exhaust, flip these out. And just stick the bow staff into one hand. You can't even stick it at the center, and voila, we got Donatello. Like, he's my second favorite. It's just, I feel bad for him because his bow staff is kind of pathetic. Like, I do like how it's done. It's just kind of unfortunate that you can't actually have him like you can technically make him do that, but it's just like I kind of wish the bow staff was not like this, especially because now it's just it's so bothersome of a piece to deal with. Make sure you attach it back correctly. This is Axis plastic I had from the bow staff the last time I've did this, because of how this was done. As you can see, it's really loose. Again, just put it back like so. You have to remove Leonardo off to move down to Donatello. So I'm not going to, oops, I'm not going to remove, I'm not going to put, not going to put Donatello back in yet. Alright. Again, as you can tell, we're just kind of posing them at whatever stance whatever stance these get posed in. But again, here are the sides. Obviously, we can either go underhanded or upper handed, but for the sake of this, we're just gonna go something like this. So here's Raphael and such. So pretty cool that you can stand him like this and such. But and then last but not least, yeah, we put this back in. Alright. And then Michelangelo, obviously his nunchucks are underneath the shoulders. Gotta fry that up. And then, yeah, there's Michelangelo. So, yeah, something like that. It's such... Sorry for posing these so horribly, but honestly, I think this is a pretty good pose. It's just the worst part is dealing with this back piece. But like everything else is like pretty solid, and I really do like how they done the nunchucks, like that they just made them plastic chains, so their integrity is actually like stable. And again, like you have waist articulation, so you can make it actually look pretty fun and such. But other than that, we can move on out of this mode and such. So again, just simply take these back. Sorry about this. Anyways, last but not least, just switching it back to Party Wallop for the next mode. But we actually do not need to put, we need to put this back on, but we don't need to put the weapons back on. Instead, we need to obviously keep all these in and such, because now we're going to actually transform Party Wall into the Party Wagon and such. To which, technically we can start by flipping these up. We need to kind of keep this in first, because we're going to focus on the lower half first. So we're going to fold the wheels up, and then fold the heels in, and then I think this is where okay, now we can actually work on the back, because we are going to fold Party Wallop's head in. This is why he got scraped and such. And then you want to coordinate this up like so and such. So then you can have room to work down here first, because we need to fold this lower half up, but then we also need to lift this section up and such. But before we can do that, we need to work on the arms and such. So we need to move the arms in like so, but we also need to move the shoulder pads in. So then the shoulder pads go into this section of the hood. Like that. So then it's like right next under there and such, but actually we also need to move that out and such. So as you can see, this gap right here getting filled out, because essentially, yeah, these holes here are getting tabbed in right here. So then with the arms, we actually want to straighten them and bend them down like so. So then these pegs right here get clipped down here. And then we also want to clip these two together. Like that. And then again, you actually want to fold, actually not yet, but so now at this point, we can actually fold the top of this in, and then we'll get back to that. So we want to, oops, not rotate it. We want to clip this in like so, and then fold it into the arms. So then as the spoiler clips into in here, and then these clips will clip into these slots in there. And then you want to move this up, so then these holes, or this hole here, gets clipped into there. And then do that to the other side too. And then oh, whoops. Yeah. Whoops. Yeah. And clip these in like so. Yeah, because then at this point, it's just trying to get these all in. And you see these empty slots right here. This is where you're gonna insert the weapons like so. And then the katanas, weirdly enough, so like to fill up these slots, you're gonna insert the sword or the katanas like this. As that falls, you just want to make sure it's the ones that will actually sit flush to here and such. It's definitely weird, but you know, yeah, there we go with the party wagon. So here we have the party wagon, And I think this looks really nice overall and such. Unfortunately, I'm not too familiar with the like details of the party wagon at all. I'm more familiar with the 2012 party wagon. But other than that, it's just like, I like how the chest piece here, obviously what is the front, still has the face right there. It rolls pretty nicely even with the weapons. I was fearing that the weapons were going to scrape on the ground, or like we're going to scrape and just end up falling, but no, they are really solidly in there. We got the cannons in there, which is pretty neat. Again, I feel like I do appreciate the blue that's painted here and such. Kind of wish this wasn't as big of a gap, but I kind of do wish that it wasn't just, the rest of it just wasn't just yellow, unless again that is accurate. There's black here and here, but other than that, again, the bottom honestly isn't too bad because again the weapons help cover things up and such, and like again, the feet here cover up the green, and like the green is not too distracting and such, so we don't really have anything too distracting and such. The only thing I'm confused about, admittedly, are the holes in the back because I don't know what these are for. Because I don't know if you're supposed to just, you can't peg anything in there and such, so alright, so I'm pretty dumb. So the reason why these holes exist is because you can take this off as party Wallop. And putting this back on, as you can see from here, I don't know how I forgot this. You pull this part down, which reveals a peg. That hole is for the front of the party wagon to become a shield for party Wallop. I don't know how I forgot to bring that up. I only discovered it when I was trying to find the logo for it, for the thumbnail, and now I have to re-export the video now. Yeah, it's just that on my first time it was just really difficult to like push these in and such. But other than that, luckily in this mode you don't have to deal with like things falling apart on you or like, things like falling back onto you. This mode is definitely a lot more solid than the robot mode and such. And again, taking out Visor 3, we can have the Ninja Turtles fight against him. Cowabunga! Honestly, like, the katanas here are pretty cool. It reminds me of, like, the trash chute from the first vehicle in the 2012 series. But, obviously, again, you can still remove this out. Obviously, you have no way of making Party Wallop actually hold it and such. But, oops. That kind of fell off and such, but can I transform this while, can I transform this without, struggling? Because I was going to say, I'm going to try to transform this, oops, don't pull, it's not a parts former, but, I was going to try to transform this while I talk about the thing and such, because it's actually kind of a lot more easier to transform this to the robot mode than it is vehicle mode and such. But alright. But yeah, honestly, like transforming this definitely, like once you get the hang of it, isn't too hard. It's just more of whether it will actually want to stay together. And then, because again, technically, I don't think he's supposed to have the katanas or the size, but I'm just going to give them to him anyway because they're always getting misplaced. Because the nunchucks and the bow staff get to have consistent places, but not these things. So, what the heck? Anyways, yeah, sorry about this review. Yeah, for the most part, or like overall, my thoughts on Party Wallop. I really do like him overall. It's a fun collaboration piece and such. Like, you know, it always made sense to make the main vehicle, the main transportation vehicle of the turtles into a transformer. I really do like that the Transformers aesthetically a Ninja Turtle and such. It's not just like a standard like Autobot Decepticon head thing. It's literally just a robotic turtle, which is pretty neat and such. Yeah, I don't remember. I think he is technically an Autobot. And like, you know, again, like the Party Wallop mode itself is pretty cool. Like he's a standard like transformer and such. But I think what makes him really stand out is the fact that you can change him out into the four other turtles by simply just pulling out the front piece. And essentially in this mode, oops, it wasn't centered. Essentially in this mode, this is his like ninja mode and such, because this is blank. So like this is just really cool that they even bothered to add in this uh ability to even like um change it from a transformer to like a Ninja Turtle and such. Like the fact that you can buy up to 5 of these things to form the other 4 Ninja Turtles is pretty cool. My only gripe about rollout mode, obviously, is just this back piece. It keeps unlatching constantly because it's just a single tab in there. It's just, you have to really push it in there and like basically not bother with it, because the issue is when you start moving this piece, it starts unloosening, or it starts loosening up, and it just gets bothersome, especially when you're trying to switch in between each of the turtles and such. That's, again, my only gripe about it and such. And again, I guess also just the legs too. I don't think the legs are supposed to be this tight, and it's kind of unfortunate because it's like, you know, you want to do like cool dynamic ninja poses with it, but it's like you can't because like, you know, I'm afraid that like, oh, I might end up breaking the joint there, right there and such. And like, you know, again, I don't mind that, like, I don't mind all these pieces around him because just, I think they are really cohesive for the most part and such. And again, like, I like how the back does replicate a turtle shell and such. I don't know why I never put that together. Like, again, like, for a ninja, it's pretty cool that, like, it's pretty armored up and such. And then, I've already said before, the vehicle mode is really solid too. The party wagon is, like, really nicely done and such. It's really nice, small, compact. It rolls around pretty well. It doesn't look weird. Like there's not really any compromises on either mode and such. So I really do enjoy this overall. I got this at Walmart. I think it's June. Yeah, it's June 6th right now. I think I got this at Walmart 2 months ago. 2 to 3 months ago, because this was sitting in my Walmart for like a year for 50 or like 49.99, but then it finally went on discount for 39.99. So I finally bit the bullet and got it. I don't know if this is available anymore. I'm pretty sure it's not anymore, just because obviously it's no longer the 40th anniversary of either franchise. But if you can find this for like, again, for about its retail price, I think it's a pretty solid pickup and such, especially if you are not, for either a fan of either franchise or you just like getting novelty stuff like this. Um, so yeah. That will have to do with this review. This is Ryder, and I'll leave people. Apologize for how badly scuffed this, not scuffed, just how empty this review was. Bye.